everyone. I'm back from Jamaica and I got a chance to do some scrapbooking for myself after I finished all my projects. So I'm going to work on the next layout on the Wonder album, and I'm going to do some paper piecing using these digital images from Chic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out multiple of these images and I'm going to cut different parts of them. So on this one, this is going to be the bottom layer, the layer that shows through all the rest. And next I'm going to cut the top layer, and so I'm going to have to cut out a bunch of holes in it so that the bottom layer will show through. So you can see here how I've cut out all those holes and that layer goes through. And the reason why I'm doing all of this is because I liked this teacup image a lot, but I didn't like the colors for my particular layout. Now I'm cutting out the tea, the golden tea. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trace all of these pieces onto patterned paper from the collection I'm using to make my own custom cup out of coordinating paper. And so I'm going to do all my tracing on different patterns of paper and then cut it all out and then assemble them into one piece image. And so I'm going to use this butterfly paper for the background, and then I'm going to use this pink and white paper for the front of the cup. And then I'm going to cut them all out. My craft knife got a major workout with this project, that's for sure. Since this pink layer is the top layer, I have to cut out the space where the tea is going to be and where all the little cup details will show through, so that's why my craft knife was definitely on board for this one. And I was glad I had my glass mat. That makes a big difference. So now that I've cut all the different layers out, it's time to start putting the finishing touches on it. And I'm going to start by inking the top layer with Colorbox Fluid Chalk ink in Chestnut Roan. And not only am I inking all the edges inside and out, but I'm also fairly heavily covering the paper itself with the ink. Now I've taken diamond glaze in a henna applicator. The henna applicator has a super needle fine tip, and it's great for putting just the thinnest line of glue for a project like this. And I'm going to glue the T down first, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put the adhesive all around the edges on the back here, and I'm going to then put the bottom layer beneath the top layer, and it's going to start looking like a cup. Okay, so now I'm just smoothing it out, making sure that everything's adhered well, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a fine brush and some gold paint, and I'm going to add some more details to the cup. And just like on some fine china, you see gold, you know, on the handle or on the rim or on the edge of the saucer. That's kind of what I'm doing here. We're just going to add some gold, make it look fancy, make it look pretty. And so here you can see that it's got the gold paint. And now I am going to figure out my placement on my page. I'm just marking a pencil line where the top of the cup is. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back through with my Apple Pie Memories acrylic stamp placer. It's like a Stamp-a-majig. It works for both acrylic and wood-mounted stamps. And I'm stamping with StazOn this coffee cup stamp from Hero Arts. And I'm lining it up so that the edge of the coffee cup matches the pencil line where I marked where my cup is going to be. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cup down with adhesive dots from Confessions of a Ribbon Addict. And I'm going to then come back with my brush and paint over the stamped steam so that I have gold steam coming from the cup And the reason I did it this way is because I just really didn't feel like I was going to make nice enough steam for myself. So once I was done with the steam, then I just wanted to add the rest of the elements to the page. And the first is this Prima flourish that I'm going to have going across both sides of the layout. And so what I've done is I've just figured out where I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to start cutting it into pieces so that it fits better on my layout. And then I'm going to go through with my gold paint, and I'm going to paint the roses gold instead of the sort of grayish color that the clay is. And now I'm adding a piece of chipboard to another one of those Wonderland woodcuts from Piddix. And this is one of Alice sitting with a teacup. And I'm just going to fray the edges by pulling out some of the string. I'm able to fray this because I printed them out on sticky back canvas from Ranger. And now I'm taking this stamp set from Hero Arts, this sort of like a typewriter font. And I'm stamping my page sentiment with the letters, which is celebrate all the unbirthdays too. And now I need to add my punctuation. So I'm going to take my I and put ink just on the straight part, not on the dot, and I'm going to use that as a dash. You could mask it, but since it's such a small stamp, I just am eyeballing it on the stamp pad. And so I have one more to add. And then what I did after this is I turned the I upside down to use it as an exclamation point. So now that I've gotten my placement of those two elements exactly right, I'm actually going to use my stamp placement to show me where the Alice one was. And that is going to get it back exactly where I wanted it. And that was really handy. I've never used the stamp placer for that, but it worked really well. And now I'm just sticking the chipboard piece down with adhesive dots. And I wanted a little more embellishing, so I'm going to cut out this butterfly from another sheet of the paper in the collection. And I'm cutting right to the edge. And then I'm going to spray it with iridescent gold glimmer mist. Just spray it all over and then dab it off. And then I'm going to heat set the glimmer mist and dry the butterfly. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to adhere it to my page. And what I'm going to do is I'm putting these black pop dots on the back of the butterfly, and I've folded the butterfly's wings. And so I'm putting the pop dots too high. And then on the body of the butterfly, I'm going to put hot glue. And so the hot glue will stick to the page and hold the body to the page, and the pop dots will elevate the wings. And that was the look that I was going for there. I wanted the butterfly to have more depth and movement. Now I'm adding some of the leftover Prima pearls that from the set that I used earlier to make the flourish, just as a butterfly trail. And there was a rose in this, and so I'm painting it gold now to match the rest of the roses on the page. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Mad Hatter charm that a friend of mine gave me, and I'm going to turn it into a ring dangle, and I'm going to dangle it between these two pages on this layout. And so I'm just going to add the charm to this jump ring, and then I'm adding the jump ring to this beaded chain that I already had. And so now I'm just going to hang that right in the ring. And now we have a Mad Hatter at the Mad Hatter's Tea Party on the Tea Party page. And this page for me was really about celebration when they had the concept in Alice in Wonderland of unbirthdays and how it's better to celebrate because you have so many more of them. And it's really just a way of saying every day should be a celebration and that every day is special. And that's what that layout was about to me. So this is the next layout, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Bye.